it's your boy with the wrong game capture. Only the most professional of streams. There we go. How are we all doing? Welcome to the second race of the season. I am your commentator today, Elliot, whatever you want to call me. And we're in Hungary. And we have a big old grid ahead of us today. In fact, so big, I think we might be doing a full qualifying session. So, as commentator, don't take my word for this entirely. I believe if we have more than 15 drivers, we will do a full qualifying. And by that, I mean Q1, Q2, Q3, 5 drivers get knocked out in Q1, 5 drivers get knocked out in Q2, etc. Excuse me. If we have less than 15, we do short quali. I think. I'm about to find out at the same time as you. In fact, I lie. I can see right there. Full quali. Look at that. In the bottom left of your screen. I am a professional. Right. I am just catching up with the chats. We are just setting up, getting everybody in. I think we're looking at... Where are we? So we have 20. We've got a full grid, apparently, if everybody shows up. If everybody shows up, we'll have a full grid, which will be very good. We've got... who am I missing? So one of the Mercedes drivers isn't joining us. That's Tesco, or Texo. Or I'm assuming it's Tesco, like the supermarket anyway. He's not going to be joining us today. But his Mercedes teammate, Kev, is with... K-Pax, that's right, 2H2K K-Pax in the other Mercedes in the other Mercedes seat as our reserve at the moment. So if you remember, K-Pax drove for Ferrari last week as a reserve driver. He is now in the Merc this week. A change as well from last week for those of you who are keeping up. You will remember a Mr. Seedy. Mr. Seedy drove in the Ferrari last week. Mr. Seedy is now joining us full-time and will be in the Alpine car. So his points from last week, I think were 2 or 3 points off the top of my head, have been transferred to Alpine. Think of it like a retcon, if you will. And he will be driving in the Alpine going forward. So we're going to see the season debut for Chubby Slug and Fatboy Sim. I will refer to him as Leon potentially throughout the race as well. 2 drivers who have been with us since the very beginning, I think. Chubby definitely. I'm pretty sure Leon has. I can't remember. Been with us for quite a long time. Always good to see them. Just having a look. Yeah, I thought I had another spectator then. So they're going to be making their starts because they couldn't race last week. So Leon, our what's the one I'm looking for? Current champion? Defending champion? Defending champion. I'm going to go with that. Our defending champion who can't commit to every race this season, so we'll see what he can do. We've got 18 drivers in right now. I'm just going to have a quick mosey on and also reply to my partner because she has just texted me and I got nothing better to do. That sounds way worse than I meant to. I don't know why I said that. So that's Gio in the house. I think it's Georgie we're missing. And Seedy? Do we have Mr. Seedy? Okay, Mr. Seedy isn't joining us tonight. That's all right. Okay. So we're 19 drivers. I think I need to... oh, hang on. I might be able to do this myself, actually. Let's see if we can get him in. I've just realised this, one of the new drivers we've got... Oh, Christ, here we go. Alright, I'm going to add him on Steam. I'm going to do that. See if we can get him in here a second. Oh, the joys, chat, of trying to get people in. But yes, we're excited. Hungary ought to be pretty good. We had a grand old time in Portugal last week. Had a bit of rain, which was very exciting. In both sessions, actually, well, we had rain at the start of the feature race, and rain at the end of the sprint race. Have I got that right? Trying to do 17 things at once. Oh, the joys, the joys, the joys, the joys. Bear with me, Chad. I know I'm supposed to be filling at the time, but I'm trying to technically assist. I don't think I've got him on my thing, do I? New. Oh, poor bugger. I don't think I can. Let me try. Oh, hang on, hang on, hang on. Is he going? Is he joining? We're getting there. We're getting there. I promise we're going soon. Oh, you love how EA games always work, don't they? Right. In the meantime, I think people have decided to. I think we might be. Yeah, we're going. I think. Yeah, we're readying up. We're readying up. We're gonna get him in quali. Right, we're going. We're going. We're going. I'm getting a beer because we're gonna need it. Oh dear. Oh, I've been tagged again. All right. Okay, that's fine. Right. I'm going full screen. We're going. We're going. We're going. I've got like 7 things open. Right. I need to get into commentary mode. This is it. This is it. Get it all out now. Right. Hungary. Full qualifying. So this is going to be an 18-minute session. All 18 drivers as it stands. Hopefully 19 if we can get our boy in. Will partake in a regular qualifying session. I don't know why I said that in the way I did. The bottom, however many drivers. So 15 drivers go through. So if we've got 18, 3 get knocked out. If we have 19, 4 get knocked out. There you go. And it's raining. Look at that. It is chucking it down in the Hungaroring. Right, this isn't going to be a Spa situation, I don't think. If you remember Spa last year, the rain came, didn't it? It came. You had to go out early. I wonder if we're going to see a similar situation here. Depending on when the rain has started, the track might be at its quickest now. Because if the track is still slightly green now... I need to get my track map up. There we go. If it's slightly green now, and the rain is getting heavier, this is the quickest time in the track, I think. We've had a Red Bull go out of... Who was that? That's going to be Arwen, who's the first driver to go out. And it is torrential out there. There's not a line in sight. It's the full wets for Arwen here, Who else have we kind of? We've had a Haas come out. We've had a Merc come out. That's Kev in the Merc. We've had Chiv and Vibora, who's gone straight on at T1 there, by the looks of it. That's how treacherous it is out there. Let's have a... Yeah, so Kev has gone out as well. There he is. All on the wet tyres, I think. Chubby Slug is sitting on the intermediates. I can't imagine that's going to be... well, maybe at the end of the session, maybe the rain will stop. I don't know. I'm finding out at the same time as you. The fact that almost every driver has come out suggests to me that the track might be in its peak moment for Q1 now. I'm just keeping an eye out. Who else is in the pit? Pace in the Racing Bulls in the pit. There's a yellow flag of a, I think that's an Alpine or a Williams who's dropped it. I think that's a Williams of Baz, I think, has dropped it there. But I'm going to go on board with Arwen as he partakes in his first Q1 lap. Ignore that sound. That's my keyboard. I'm going to move that now. Oh, there it is again. Romantic. Right, ignoring that. Arwen in the Red Bull coming around the final corner to start his first lap of Q1. And he's on the left-hand side of the straights, where you need to be. No DRS, because it's a wet session. We'll have to see what line he takes through Q1. We'll have to see how wet it is on the inside, see where he brakes at the 100, I think it was 125 he braked there. Thinks he just gives the curb a little bit of a miss. Oh yeah, look how far away he is from the exit curb there. Moves the car all the way over onto the right-hand side for this sort of... It's kind of a bit of a clumsy... It's cambered in, but the car can fight you a little bit there. The car washes out through this usually very quick corner here into this rapid T5 or T6 this is, but he's going to be very careful here. Probably drop it down a gear or so. Oh, it's a good slide there. Keeps it within the lines. We go through the technical part of the track now. That inside curb can spin you out. As we head towards the chicane, will he keep the car pointing in a straight line going through the chicane? Or he gives the curbs a decent miss, but uses a bit of exit curb there. Now we're through the twisties here. Really easy to invalidate here on a dry time, usually. Let's see if he keeps... I think he just kept it in. We'll see now. Oh, it's a big snap. Oh, he's kept it. That's a good save from Arwen there. He is throwing the car around. That would have been a remarkable accident. Brake with the curb appears on the left, even in the wet. Don't invalidate on the left-hand side. He gives it a very wide berth. Just 2 more corners to go now. This corner, the car, you just want it to turn in. He's kicking the rear out. It's how much throttle he's putting on. And he's going to come around the final corner now. You just need to wait for your time to put the power down as we see Pace start his lap in the background there. Keeps it in the white lines. Arwen sets a 1:31.7. That's the benchmark. We're going to see, where are we? Kev is going to be the next to cross the line here. He keeps it pointing in a straight line. Kev is going to set a 1:34.2. That's going to be Chiv in the McLaren there, I think. 1:35.8. The Aston Martin comes across there of Rob with a 1:34.0. And judging by Arwen's times, I think Mai was right. Michelando's going to cross the line here. He's going to set another 34. That's a 34.3. That is Dale setting a 33. And Bosch with a 31.3. All right, so there is time out there. Gio sets a 33.1. There's a kick drive across the line there. That is Craig sets a 32. And Cleon with a 31.0. I'm going to watch Chubby Slug to the final sector here as we see a Williams cross the line. Baz sets a 35.5. The the Racing Bull of Skarma sets a 32.6. So Chiv and Baz looking like they might be in danger at the moment. Maybe had a bit of a scruffy lap. They'll have enough fuel to keep going. Do a couple more laps. There's a yellow flag there with Pace, I think that is, who might be setting up. Chubby Slug sets a 31.8 purple sector 3 there. I'm going to go on board and see. Lucas is in the pits. Interesting. We'll look at the Haas driver here, who I think is on his flying lap. Somebody just crossed the line there. I think that was Devaro in the Williams with a 35.5. Pace sets a 32.3 as well. He might be... Okay, oh, it's a big snap from Vibora. Keeps it pointing in a straight line. The Mercedes going next to each other there. We'll have to see if cars are going into the pits or if they're going to go again. I'm going to stay on board. Oh, Vibora's on his outlap, excuse me. So Luke's still in the pits. K-Pax is just set a time of a 40.2. We're going to watch Vibora go around here. as the Haas driver on his debut as well, I should say, because he was not with us last week. There's a yellow flag. It looks like a racing bull slowing down. Let's watch Vibora go around now. I want to see what the track looks like. Some drivers starting their second laps, I think, so I'm going to watch, see if any times improve in the background. I think it was Arwen to cross the line. So Leon improves to a 30.8. The dry line is starting to appear. You can see it. Oh, it's a big snap from Vibora going into T3 there. We're going to stay on board here as he keeps it going through T4. I think that is. Here we go, the very quick T5. Is he going to drop a gear? Drops down to 4th. Keeps it very, very sensible in the curbs. He's got an Aston Martin for company as well. Just waiting to put the power down. The car just doesn't want to cooperate. Big block. Oh, is he going to keep it in the lines? Well, he hasn't invalidated. I'm going to see how he continues on through the twisty sections. The tyres just not cooperating at all. See another couple drives across the line. Arwen improves to a 31.0, so there is more time out there. Gio in the Haas looks like he's going to chuck on the intermediate tyres. Could we see a move to inters at the very end? We'll have to see what happens. The rain looks a bit lighter. I think that's Kev that improves to a 31.8 there. Chubby Slug's going to put on the intermediate tyres as well. So I think we might see intermediate running here, as we see Vibora, the last of the drivers to set their laps, with the exception of Lucullus, who's still in the pits for the moment. So Vibora crosses the line and sets a, what was that, a 135.0. Bosch improves to a 130.1. Good from the kick driver there. Who else we got going around? Is there anyone out on this? So Gio is out on the inters. I want to see how this goes. So more drivers improving. I think that was Craig that improved there to a 30.9. Drivers crossing the line all the time as they fueled up for about 5 or 6 laps. But the dry line is coming in very quickly, and I think it might have stopped. The rain hasn't stopped. It's gotten dramatically lighter. Chubby's gone out on the intermediate as well. There's a yellow flag here. I'm just going to stay on board. The intermediates definitely look like the tyre to be on at the moment. So this is going to be a case of the last driver to cross the line at the end of Q1 is going to have the best possible track conditions. So if you set your lap too early on the intermediate tyre, you may be upwards of a second slower, especially on a downforce track like this. You can see drivers fighting the car ahead. Gio's going to build himself a bit of a gap. You can see the queue building here. I think drivers looking to go into the pits. I am going to go on board with Gio here onto the broadcast view, and we're going to watch a flying lap on the intermediate tyres and see how they feel at race pace. So Gio now to start the line. This is the first of the cars on the intermediate run in this Q1 session. We will see how it compares. I think he's going to go comfortably P1 here. The very determined dry line here. Much more aggressive on the curbs there. Touches the wet part a little bit, but keeps putting in a straight line. Used a bit more curb than Arwen did on his flying lap there. Car moving around a little bit as he goes down into T3. Is he going to touch the curb? He does take the apex there. Washes a little bit wide there. Intermediates aren't going to like the standing water, but he keeps it going. Flat there. Oh, and I think he's invalidated. No, he hasn't. He hasn't invalidated. He's kept it red. I'm going to remove this back from the screen as he cuts a lot of T5 there. Going through T6, that curb will spin you on any tyre as he keeps it on the, well, I say the damp patch, if you will, coming through the chicane. You see the drivers there on the wet tyres fighting through. Nobody really assaulting the curbs, but uses a lot of curb on exit. There's a lot of grip out there. There's a brake marker. Looks like it got damaged there. There's a McLaren getting in the way. Oh, it's going to have slowed him down, and he has gone wide. Again, still no red screen there, so I think he might be okay in terms of setting a lap time. Well, I'm not entirely sure. It looked like he was over, unless it's a bug on my screen, but we'll keep going on the assumption that he's fine. Touches a bit of the curb on the right-hand side to rotate the car. Doesn't go too wide here. Just 2 more corners left. Just get the car turned in. You drop almost down to second gear here as the car just won't necessarily bite in. And he's going to take the final, I think there's a yellow flag up here somewhere. But we're going to see Gio cross the line here. What will he set in the intermediate tyre? It's a 30.06. It is definitely the intermediates as our Haas driver goes on provisional pole. There's a yellow flag there in Sector 3. I think that's Vibora that stopped in the Haas. But I find him here. Yeah, there's Vibora, who looks like he's gone off. Chubby then improves to a 29.8 as our Haas driver keeps going. I think he was just staying out of the way. I want to go on board. Let's have a look. Arwen's out. Kev is out. Michelando is also out on the intermediate time. Just having a look here. Who else is going? Luke is still in the pits. He's biding his time. Probably waiting for the very end there. So let's have a look. Arwen has just started his lap, I believe. I want to go on board with... Let's have a look at Kev here. Where is he? So Kev's about to start his lap. That looks like a... oh, there's someone got off in Sector 1 there. That is a... There's a lot of cars there. I think they might have been getting out of the way, actually, of Arwen. I believe, or was that Arwen who went off? No, yeah, Arwen is on his flying lap. I get those blue things mixed up all the time. But we're going to look at Kev here as he burns his battery coming down. Luke does come out of the pits now. So you've got a choice here, if you're a driver in this session. You can wait until the very end with a fresh pair of intermediate tyres and do one flying lap at the end, or you could go out now with about 6 minutes left and just run the laps around on the intermediate tyres, get some more sort of grip into them, get a bit of heat in them, because the time drop-off on worn intermediates in the first 10 to 50% of them isn't all that bad. So it might benefit you just get into a bit of a rhythm. Now, it says on my screen that Kev has set a purple Sector 1, so the track is just getting drier and drier and grippier, and seeing more and more cars switch to the intermediate now. Bosch is out on the inters, Cleon is out on the inters, Chiv is out on the inters, Skarma is out, Pace is out, Arwen's on a flying lap now, as is Kev, as is Michelando. Vibora and Luke have just come out on the intermediates on their out laps as well. A couple of drivers in the pits or pitting in to change tyres. As Kev just goes a bit wide there, he just had to let off throttle not to invalidate. And Kev is still flying here. His tyres still complaining a little bit. We could see dry running in Q3. I'm not sure about Q2. Chubby says that's it. 5 minutes left in the session. He says nobody is going to get more. 14 drivers aren't going to get more than him, or 8, 7. Chubby says he's fine. We'll see Kev cross the line here. It's a 28.9, a second quicker than Chubby Slug. Has he retired too early? I think he has. I think Chubby Slug has retired too early, so Kev sits on provisional pole for the time being, but those times are just going to keep coming and coming. So Luke is out now. We're having a look. Dale and Baz still in the pits. K-Pax in the pits. Gio improves to a 28.2, as does Michelando. Gio on the second lap of the intermediates there, so he's just going to keep going round. I think Chubby Slug is in a lot of trouble, if you ask me. Have a look at Chiv. Chiv is just starting his flying lap now. There's cars just strewn everywhere, trying to get out of the way, or having their own moments. I think that was actually Craig who had just come out of the pits. Vibora starts his flying lap now. See if he can improve off of the bottom of the grid as it stands. 3 drivers will be knocked out. There's a Mercedes going slowly in Sector 2 there. I think he was letting potentially Rob in the Aston Martin go through. It's a big start from Chiv. He keeps it though. He keeps it going. The car just wants to swap ends on you, especially as you're just trying to get these intermediates. Skarma goes almost a second and a half quicker as Chiv makes an absolute pig's meal of the chicane there in his flying lap. And that is Luke, who sets a 27.8. So Luke has got his time on the board, but Skarma is flying. Cleon, excuse me, has gone quicker with a 26.7. Excuse me. Pace sets a 28.0. Our sprint winner from last week. Having a look at other ones who cross the line now. There's an Aston Martin crossing the line of, I think that's Rob, who's going to start his lap as we watch Chiv go to the end here. That is a Mercedes driver of, I think that might be K-Pax starting his lap as well. Chiv is going to set his time. He's going to improve, I think, on his 30.7, but he's going to have to go again. He's going to get a nice little tow from the Haas driver there. As we see, Chiv improves to P7, so it's a 28.3. And I'm also going to watch Craig Brook here as he goes as well. A driver who is on odds for pole position as it stands. I'm just going to go off again and watch him go around. He goes a little bit wide there. He does keep it. Seems the track limits are a bit kind in Hungary. I'm just going to keep an eye here, see if anyone else improves up. Vibora goes to a 29.8 on the intermediate tyres. Good lap from him. That is Arwen with a 26.1, 6/10 up on Cleon there. So the track, again, is just getting quicker and quicker and quicker. drivers crossing the line now may be able to do 1 or 2 more laps as the car steps out again from Craig there. I think, again, Chubby Slug's in a lot of trouble. We are seeing all the drivers who are below him are currently either on a lap or on an out lap. I'm just going to continue on with Tobias as he goes through. Another driver jumps. That's Devaro in the Williams with a 28.2. Goes into P7, a tidy lap from him. As we see, it's a purple sector too. You're going to see purple sectors all over the place here. Another driver drops up. That's Rob in 27.7 and Kev at a 27.3 in the Mercedes. Very strong there. Going over our previous race winner. Tobias is going to encounter a little bit of traffic at the end of the lap here. As we see, I think that might be a McLaren go there. Mika Lando jumps up to a 27. Chiv goes up to P3. Craig goes to P1. A 26.0. Chubby Slug is just 3 positions out from being knocked out here. Bosch, I think, crossed the line. He might have invalidated. I'm going to have a look here at... let's have a look where we are. So Vibora is going. The yellow flag as a Haas slows down. Vibora, oh, he goes wide. He just messes up the final corner. So Vibora is going to go again or recharge. Have a look here at Bosch as he's on his flying lap. Arwen improves to a 25.9 as there is 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. We're going with K-Pax. We haven't seen our driver come in yet. There was another driver who jumped up there. Times are going all over the place at the moment. Skarma and Theon both go into the 25s as well. Theon's got 3/10 on Skarma there. There's a yellow flag as that is a Williams slowing down. There's also a kick driver who is slow there. Bosch invalidates. I think Tobias might have had a moment as well. Baz goes up to P10. K-Pax up into P6. Chiv! Oh, Chiv is sideways! Oh, I've got on board with the McLaren driver who is getting very close to the wall. He's kept it in one piece. I joined at the right time. Chubby Slug is officially out. Chubby Slug is out. Kev starts what will be his last lap here. So there's 20 seconds remaining. I think Chiv is going to be the last driver in the queue. Have a look. Bosch has got enough fuel to go again. 10 seconds left. So Bosch crosses the line here. Is Chiv. So Chiv, I think, has just gone into the pits. Has Tobias made it across the line? I'm not sure. He has not. So Bosch is our last driver to cross the line. So we're going to go on board with the T-Cam here. And we'll see, as you can see how much drier the track is. First time I've looked down from the timing screen there, and the wet patch on the far right-hand side has gotten so much less as this session has gone on. Bosch just trying to keep it in a straight line. As it stands, Bosch, Vora, Chubby Slug are the ones who are being knocked out. Chubby Slug, definitely. He's retired. He retired with 5 minutes remaining. Skarma has taken the car. Craig has taken the flag. Chiv and Dale has taken the flag. Lucalis improves to P2 with the 25.5. That will put him safe almost certainly. We'll just have to see who else is at risk. Another driver improves. That's Pace there. And K-Pax both go into 6th and 7th. Rob Pitts from P8. He is not going to improve. And he retires. He says that's enough of that. Mercedes driver just getting out of the way there. Kev is safe in P7, so he should be fine. Devaro crosses the pits in P15. He doesn't improve. So Gio in the Haas is behind Bosch here, and then Mika Lando to cross the line. I'm not sure who's all on there. I don't think Gio's on a lap. Mika Lando pits as well. So Vibora's taken the flag as well in P17. Will Bosch improve on his time? He does to P5, jumping ahead of his teammate. And that is that. Q1 is over. And that was certainly a way to start a session. Devaro in the Williams, Chubby Slug in the Ferrari, and Vibora in the Haas, all knocked out in Q1. That will be their starting positions. Michelando just hanging on in P15 there by 0.3 of a second over the Williams driver. So Gio gets through, Kev gets through as well, looking at our new drivers. Theon, in his first race of the season, gets through as well, but unfortunately for Vibora, our debut driver, he is out in Q1. My goodness me. I need some of my beer. I unlocked the front door to my house at 20 minutes to 8. So I am just getting into the rhythm now. We love a bit of rain, don't we? Don't we love a bit of rain? Had it in Portugal Sprint, had it in the Portugal race as well, had it in the Hungary's qualifying. Are we going to have it in the Hungary race? We'll have to see. This is where we secretly find out that the calendar was created to have only wet races this season. As crazy. Could you imagine a wet race at like Qatar or something? It'd be nuts. I'll stop lit slapping and we'll get into Q1. Struggle to keep a lap on the inters. Well, it's going to be intermediates again, Bosch. The rain is falling still. Now, the question is, it's definitely intermediate conditions now. It was wet at the start of Q1. Drivers drove around until we had a proper dry line. I say drying line, I should say. The rain's got lighter, so we're going to start this session on the inters. Are we going to get to dries in the next 15 minutes? We will have to see. That is a Red Bull of Arwen, who, like in Q1, is going out straight away. So, we will potentially go on board with him. I'm looking at anyone else up and down the pit lane going out. I don't believe so, unless there is a Haas behind me who's going to go out. A McLaren of going out. I think that might be Chiv in the McLaren there going out. I can't really see up there, but we are going to go on board with Arwen. Actually, no, we went on board with Arwen in Q1. Let's go on board with Chiv and watch our McLaren driver go around. So, track is pretty even in terms of the dampness. As you can see, there's no more defined sort of drying line and wet patches. You can see where it is a bit rubbery out there, but we're still in a part where the track is just going to kind of keep getting a bit quicker and getting a bit quicker. Again, I could very well see a situation, even if we do go to dries in Q2, where the last across the line will be the quickest. I'm having a look. A lot of cars have come out. So both kicks, both Aston Martins have come out. That is a V-carb there of, who is that? Skarma, who's gone out. Mercedes driver has gone out. Both Red Bulls, Dale has just come out of the pits there. The Williams, the last remaining Williams of Baz has come out. Which Mercedes was that came out? That was Kev, I believe. Yes, it was. So we've got a Haas there of Gio, who's coming out of the pits. Chiv just casually invalidating on his outlap. I think we're probably not that far from dry tyres, you know. I'm having a look. So K-Pax and Gio. Gio's gone out on the softs. So we have a car out on the soft tyre as it stands. Right, that's very interesting. I'm going to shut up and go on board with Chiv here, though. I'm going to go on the TV cam. As we see the McLaren driver cross the line, he's going to start his lap on the intermediate tyres. Now, I'm curious to see his time, and as soon as we finish with Chiv, we're going to go on board with the Gio on the soft tyres, and we're going to have a look. But first, we're going to watch Chiv go through Q1, gives the Apex a little bit of a miss, but keeps the car in the right place on the track. Move all the way over to the right-hand side here for T3. Don't touch the curb on the inside, and on throttle anyway. Car washes out right, but you want to pull it right to the left for this very quick corner here. Now, this corner is usually a downshift and flat in the dry. Chiv here, does it go flat? I don't think he did. I think he might have downshifted, maybe lifted a little bit, going through the slippery curb here, and I told you it was slippery. He keeps it going, but you do not want to touch that curb. Chiv, they're hard on the brakes to go through the chicane, assaulting the curbs. That was a great angle there as he goes through the twisties. Oh, he's lost it! Chiv has lost it. He's kept it out of the wall. A little love tap for good measure. But Chiv, the intermediate's not playing. DRS has been enabled. So this is it. I'm going to go on board with Gio here. As we saw Chiv's moment as he lost it through the sector. I'm going to look at the soft tyres. DRS is going to be a massive help here for the Haas driver. He's got to be careful on the throttle. So it's a dry session. It's been declared dry. DRS is on. You struggled so hard on the wets. I don't blame you at all for Bora. It looked like an absolute horrible racetrack out there. Intermediates not playing ball as well. I'm curious to see how the Haas driver does on the soft tyre. The track is still very greasy. I think he might have invalidated. He has. He's invalidated. So we have intermediate runners setting their times. 23s, 22s there. Gio was the lead car on the soft tyre. He has invalidated. So he will have to go again if he's got the fuel to do it. I'm trying to figure out who the next soft tyre runner is. So Pace is on his outlap on the soft tyre. K-Pax is on his outlap. I think it might be K-Pax to cross the line. Now it is. So we are going to go on board with the Mercedes driver. DRS open as he goes down to turn 1. You're just trying to find your braking zone here. You know the soft tyres will give you grip as he has a bit of a snap on the rear there, but you can't attack it like you would at a perfectly dry track. You've got to try and find where the braking is. Where is the grip? Where isn't the grip? Where are the marbles? As he runs a little bit wide there, you see the car fighting a little bit. It's almost four-wheel drifting as he went through T3 there. Comes up to this very quick corner here. Quick little downshift. Keeps it off the curb, doesn't invalidate. Don't touch the curb like Chiv did on the inside. Absolutely perfect from K-Pax there. Gives the curb a wide berth on the exit there. Again, assaults the curbs. You have to, that chicane is where all the time is. Use all the curb on exit. And this is where the dangerous part of the track is when it's greasy. It's these twisty, it's these half throttle, it's these flat corners where you just want to get... How brave can you be without going over the white line? It's pretty tidy from K-Pax. It has to be said. Brakes at the 75 meters. It goes a little bit wide. Has he invalidated there? He hasn't. He's kept it in the lines. I couldn't see from the angle this weirdly cambered second to last corner as he goes to the final one. I think he had a snap on throttle there. K-Pax going around now. Tuck it in on the inside. Get on throttle. Don't invalidate. DRS open. Crosses the line. It's a 1:21.1 from K-Pax. Pace that improves by 0.6 behind him to a 20.5. And we are going to see a very, very, very interesting end to this session. Again, the last person to cross the line will be the one with the best possible track. You can't bottle it, though, because once you cross that line, it's over. We're going to look at Gio, who's going to go again. No, he set his time. It's a 20.0. Half a second up on pace. I didn't realize he'd gone straight for a back-to-back flat run there. We've got a couple of drivers trying to inch their way into the pits. There's a yellow flag, and it's a Red Bull, I think that is, who has spun. It's Arwen. No, Arwen's trying to go into the pits, excuse me. That's where the yellow flag is. Or he's spun it. It's auto reset him to the pits. I didn't catch it. That's a McLaren driver of Chiv starting once again. So Chiv was our first driver out on the intermediate tyre. Well, second driver, I should say. On the intermediate tyre, he dropped it and has come back in for the soft tyre. Can the McLaren driver put himself into the top 10? We've got 8.5 minutes remaining here, so drivers have time to set their anchor lap as Kev is our first driver into the 119s. 19.993 by just 7 1/1000ths from the Mercedes driver as Pace obliterates it a second quicker. Back-to-back flying laps from Pace there. It's an 18.9. And we could see as low as, we could even see 17s and 16s here. Who knows? The track is gripping up very quickly, seconds of lap time, and it's all in Sector 2 here. It's so much time can be bought in these quick corners where you have to lift the throttle a little bit. You've got to pick your line. You've got to make sure you can be flat. You can be brave through it. That's where all the time is, if you know the car will stick. Because if you go flat through there and it isn't ready, you are going to have a monumental accident. We almost saw it with Chiv, but he did well to keep it out of the wall. We aren't going to see the McLaren driver come around the final corner as I see a couple more drivers switching to the softs. Everybody will be in the softs. Chiv crosses the line now, and it's a 17.5, 1.4 seconds on the Racing Bull car of Pace there. That's remarkable. Michelando into the 17s as well. I don't even know what the cutoff time is going to be here. I know the time trial times were dipping into the 13s. I expect the Q1 pole to be in the 14s, there or thereabouts. Fat Boy Sim goes into the 16s, 1.3 seconds on Chiv. This is anybody's game. Any one of these drivers could go through into Q2. Any one of them. As Rob, it's a 16.8. I'm going to go on board. Is that that is Arwen, I believe it is? No, it's Dale coming around the final corner here. Dale is on his outlap, so he's going to start. We're going to watch the Red Bull driver go around here. We'll put it on TV pod so you can hear the car scream. Then the track looks like it's completely dry. Lift the apex a little bit, but keeps the momentum going. Move the car all the way over onto the right-hand side here. Pick your braking point. It's about 75 meters in the dry, and he's done well there. Let the car wash out wide. Bring it all the way over to the center of the track and flat through here. Now, this is what I want to know. He's got a bit of traffic up ahead, but does he brake here? It's a downshift, and it's flat from Dale. We are getting into a properly quick track now. Skarma gets a 16.2. Those two have been matching their times almost exactly throughout this whole session. Neat and tidy through the chicane here. Little downshift there. Wait, you don't want to go full throttle, just enough to keep the car going as quickly as you can. Flat through here, and this is usually flat. It's a little lift. It's a safety lift from Dale. There's yellow flags as cars are trying to get out of the way. That is an Aston Martin who I think went straight on there just to get out of the way of the other car. Pace improves to a 16.4 there in the V car. Both of those looking very racy. We're going to see Dale cross the final corner now. Let it all the way to the left-hand side. You want to scrub as little speed as possible. Dale sets a 15.6. It's into the 15s here with 5 minutes left. And Aston Martin in the pits there. I think that is a Mercedes that crossed the line. Now I'm trying to see who else is on track at the moment. I'm scarcely keeping up. Bosch is currently flying. He's on his out lap. Craig is currently on his flying lap, I believe. Yes, he is. And you can see how confident he is scything through this technical sector. You have this little mini straight here before Sector 3. It's a purple Sector 2. This could even be into the 14s, depending on how he did in the beginning of the lap. Keeps it very neat and tidy. Arwen puts a 15.5 on the board. Tobias has looked very racy in practice, and in the build-up to this, can Tobias set down a benchmark time? As he rounds the final corner, Tobias crosses the line. And it's a 15.1, not quite a 14, but we are very, very close. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the session. Now, this is very similar to the intermediate tyres here. You've seen a lot of drivers come into the pits there. I'm going to see who that McLaren is wandering around. I think that is Luke on an outlap as well. When the session is greasy like this, you can either fuel up your soft tyres for a few runs. You can see here, Luke has 5.5 laps of fuel. You can see it on the top right of the screen on his steering wheel, as I think that was K-Pax who goes into the 15s there. So Luke has fueled for 1 or 2 more laps. So you either box in, you grab fresh softs and enough fuel for 1 flying lap, or you get fuel for a couple more laps and just keep going around. So flying lap recharge, flying lap recharge. Easier to do on the inters, but I'm going to stay on board here with Luke here. Luke had the unique aspect of winning the most amount of races last season without getting a single pole position. So can he get a pole position this year? We will see how he does in Q2. I'm just monitoring now. I think that was Bosch or Craig who has started their flying lap as well, as Luke is aggressive on the curbs, isn't he? He's very confident. That's Bosch on his flying lap there as one of the V-carbs gets out of the way. That's a Red Bull starting their lap, I believe. Luke leaves the exit curb, a bit of room. Luke yet to set a time here. Baz and Gio are still got times from their intermediate runs, or early soft runs even, so we expect them to go out in a minute. I'm probably on fresh tyres. I think Baz has actually just started a lap. We're going to see Gio come out. Michelando and Shiva both come out as well as I follow Luke through the final sector here. Very confident, very smooth, very consistent. It's everything you expect from our one-time P0 champion. Luke will cross the line. And it's a 15.6. So Craig has set the benchmark. The sun is out. The track is going to get hotter and hotter. We're going to look at Bosch here as he goes around. He has got fuel potentially. No, he's going to start his lap now, judging by his battery here. I'm having a look here. There is a V-carb, I think that is. Is that going to be Pace there? No. That is Skarma, who is going to start his lap now, invalidated on his out lap. Got pole in the sprint in Portugal as well, I believe. Oh, yes, and Rob was pole in the feature race, excuse me. Very good through T1 there, at least looked like it on my screen. Dale has come out on fresh softs. Gio is out on fresh softs as well. Michelando has just started his lap as well. Fatboy Sim has come out on fresh softs as well. There's an absolute cavalcade of cars in T1 there, but I'm just going to stay on board with the V-carb driver here. As he just hurls it through there. It's a purple sector 1. Don't lose it on the curb. Oh, he's assaulting it, but keeps putting it in a straight line. Haas driver. Oh, he's in the way. Oh, it's a Haas driver massively in the way of Skarma's flying lap there. He's had to abandon. There's about 5 or 6 cars there. And the Haas, there's going to be some choice words in the general chat coming in, I would imagine, as they all start flying through. It looks like Skarma's got fuel to go again. As we have a look now, Bosch is going to go around. He's going to start his flying lap. The sector times means I can't tell you how long is left in the session, but it's less than a minute. There it is. So Bosch is going to go, and he's gone. His flying lap improves to a 15.697. So he has not got time for another lap with his battery. That's it for Bosch. Craig is also gone. Gio is going to start his lap here on the Haas. I'm curious to see how he improves. Michelando is going to cross the line in just a minute, unless that was him and he invalidated. Was that Rob? No, Michelando is... Where is Michelando? He has crossed the line. So Michelando is going for his lap now. I'm just trying to keep up. Baz is at a 17.5. The Mercedes driver of Kev goes across the line there. K-Pax is going to start his lap. He is the last one to cross the line. So we're going to watch K-Pax as he goes around us. I'm just going to keep an eye on the bottom sector here. I think we've got less than 10 seconds before the flag comes down. Will any drivers improve? So there's a VCARB crossing the line now. Pace takes the flag with a 15.5. Craig, also in the pits, takes the flag with a 15.1. Chiv takes the line with a 17.5, and Baz in the pits. So Baz and Chiv are out. They are knocked out of Q2. They haven't been able to improve their times. Now it just remains to see if Michelando or Gio can jump them. Rob is also at risk at the moment. Bosch pits from P6. He's done all he can. Arwin is also in the pits as well, as we stay on board with K-Pax as he is hurtling around trying to keep himself safe. That was Lucas in a 15.5. Dale with a 15.6. A yellow flag there as one gets out of the way. Arwin, no, it's Pace at the 15.5. No, Rob to a 15.2 in P2. Michelando with a 15.2 as well. Cleon with a 14.9. Gio takes the flag in P10. There, that's a 15.7 from the Haas driver. Skarma's knocked out with the same time as the Haas driver who got in his way. As K-Pax crosses the line now, he's through. Gio is knocked out. Skarma's knocked out unless Kev can knock out Bosch here as he crosses the line, takes P13. And drama as the VCARB driver who was on pole in the sprint gets blocked by the Haas on his flying lap and then sets the same time as the Haas driver after the Haas driver set his, so starts behind him in the race. Massive drama. And for the third qualifying in a row, if you include sprint qualifying and regular qualifying, drivers have set the same time as each other. That's remarkable. But Gio, Skarma, the big upset there. Kev in the Mercedes, Baz in the Williams, and Chiv, another big upset, all knocked out in Q2. Baz and Chiv couldn't hook up their laps. Skarma, Kev, and Gio just couldn't do enough. Bosch gets through there by, 2/100ths. He's into Q3. K-Pax, Dale, Pace, Michelando, Owen, Rob, Craig, Lucas, and Fatboy Sim all duking it out for pole position. We've got a dry session here. Now, I'm curious if the track is going to grip up even more. We'll have to see. The sun is beaming out as it stands. I'm just going to quickly, while we're in this little interim session here, check on our... don't think I've got... No. We might not be able to get our Haas driver in. We'll have to see. Plenty of drama. I very well may have missed there. Everybody is flying around on these qualifying laps. As Dale comes out, Dale is moving out of the pits. He's going to be the first to go. We're going to go on board here. No, he's not, actually. Excuse me. The kick driver has just got out ahead of him. And I always like to see the first driver go out. So Craig is out. Craig is flying. He's been flying in qualifying. He's been flying in practice. Fatboy Sim has been flying as well. I think it could be... I think it's between him. I think it's between... So Fatboy Sim, Craig, Lucas, all within a shout for pole. Rob always within a shout as well. Michelando has looked strong as well. Pace, I don't think you can rule out either. He's a very quick boy. in that V-carb there, and he's now the only V-carb left. So we've got both Red Bulls, both Kicks, both Aston Martins in the session. We've got one McLaren, one Ferrari, one V-carb, and one Mercedes, the reserve driver of Capex. We're going to watch here. We've got 7 of the 10 cars out on track at the moment. Bosch, Luke, and Capex just sitting in the pits for the time being. But as I like to do for each of these qualifying sessions, I like to watch the first car go out and set their lap. So we're going to watch on broadcast view as the sun beams down in the Hungaroring. Craig Brook will take us on his first qualifying lap of Q3 as he absolutely nails it across the curb on the start-finish straight there. DRS wide open. Pick your braking marker. It's downhill, so you can brake quite late here. I think he brakes at the 100-meter board there. Turns the car in. It behaves very well. Use the curb to rotate. Don't touch the exit curve on the right-hand side. Get as far right as you can for this very sort of, it's about a 4th gear, cambered in corner. The car will wash out. You don't want it to go too wide because you need to move it directly across to fly over that curb there. And he's not invalidated. He kept it in the white lines. This is just a downshift. Oh, he looks at that, salting the curbs there. That looked remarkable from the Kick driver there. I think we've just had a disconnect. We'll look at that in a second as we look through. Craig Brook goes through the chicane there. Doesn't touch the curbs too much, but uses all the curb on exit. And we want to watch him through this middle sector here. The car is just so responsive from Craig here. He's thinking and it's turning. He's done very well through the middle sector there. Keep it all the way to the left here. Brake at about 50 meters. You can brake really late here. Use the curb on the inside to rotate the car. Drop it down to 3rd or 2nd here. Just get the car turned in as quickly as you can as he goes around the final corner. I think he's all out of battery. You just want to tuck it in. Wait for your acceleration moment. There. Use some of the curb and exit. DRS open. It's a 14.9 from Craig. First car into the 14s. Dale sets a 16.2 behind him. I'm going to see if I can grab one of the Aston Martins there of Rob as he goes around the final corner. He's got Michelando, who will get a tasty little toe from him as well. As he crosses the line now, it's a 15.0 from Rob and a 15.6 from Michelando, so a 10th off there. That is a V-carb going into the pits there, I think. Yes, as the Ferrari of Fatboy Sim crosses the line, it's a 14.6 from the Ferrari driver. Lucas has invalidated on his outlap, but he is going to go now. So this is Luke on his flying lap now. Let's see how competitive he is. I think Bosch is on an outlap behind him as well, and Pace is coming around to finish his lap potentially. I'm going to go on board quickly with Pace and check. We'll have a look and see where does Pace place his V-carb. Uses whatever battery he has left, puts it at 15.5. Respectable from Pace here. I want to see how Lucas takes this corner here in the TV pod. Keeps it in 7th, uses the curb there, all the way flat, doesn't invalidate. Drops it down to 4th gear. Let the car wash out wide. You can use a bit of exit curb there, but he doesn't do it. How much curb does he take here? Lots of curb. Oh, he's unsettled the car side. He's taking too much curb, but he's going to keep it going and see what kind of time he can set. We'll watch Bosch as well as Capex, I think, is behind Lucas here, who's going to be on his flying lap. Luke keeps it very tidy through the middle sector there, but he will have lost time through the chicane, no doubt. Tidy through there. This clumsy corner here. You almost take a V-shaped line into it because you just want to get on power as early as you can. Turn in a bit late there. Nibble a bit of the curb if you fancy. Open your DRS. Cross the line. It's a 15.1 from Luke there. So Capex is come out. Arwin has also gone out as well. Pace is probably just coming in, I think. I'm going to go on board with Bosch here, who sets a 15.6 for Bosch. Let's have a look as Pace, I think, is coming into the pits. He is. So our only driver on a fast lap here is Capex, so we'll watch him go as he goes through the 2nd DRS zone here. Arwin is also on an outlap. I think he might have invalidated on his flying, or he hasn't set one yet. I couldn't tell you. Let's watch Capex there. Doesn't touch the curb on the right-hand side there. Just throws it in. Very tidy, very sensible from our reserve driver. Let's see how he goes through the chicane. Love this angle here. Use the curbs. You can use the curbs to rotate the car a little bit if you hit them right. But they can also upset the car. Speaking of, that was a big slide from the back there for the Merc driver. There's a yellow flag. I think that is Arwen just setting up for his lap. Oh, the car, he's had a moment. K-Pax has had a big slide. He's kept it going momentum-wise. He also would manage to avoid and invalidate as well. But the tyres screaming at you as you go through those rapid corners there. Let's see what he can do as Lucullus comes into the pits as well. And K-Pax goes in. So K-Pax abandons. He says that's not good enough. Bosch, I think, is going to start his flying lap now as well. So Bosch wants to go again. Arwen is also on a flying lap as well. We will see where he ends up in a minute. But we're going to go on board with the kick driver. He's got a bit of traffic with his teammate going up ahead, who I think might be trying to set his lap early. He's got a bit of a jump to go. I think it's 3.5 tenths on the Ferrari driver. But let's focus on Bosch for the time being. Career best qualifying of P3 in Yas Marina last season after he got a lovely tow from his teammate. We will see how he does here. Oh, it's a good corner there. Downshift, kept it flat, managed to keep it within the lines. Let's see how he does on the chicane here. Car just complaining a little bit, but he's kept it going. Uses a lot of curb there as he goes through the S's. The tyres at this point are absolutely screaming at you. Arwen puts a 15 flat there, puts in P4, and Bosch assaults the curb there, but keeps upon in a straight line. But as I was saying, once you go through this lap on a flying lap, the tyres are so soft that you start to feel the wear on them halfway through your flying lap. So it's really difficult to keep the car cooperating and behaving. We're going to see Bosch cross the line now. Let's see what he can do. Can he improve on a 15.6? It's a 15.5. He jumps the V-Carb to P6, but has a bit of work to do to get any higher. He has time to box and go again, I believe, but we're going to go back on board with Craig Brook here as he's on his flying lap. Car, I think, was fighting him just a little bit there as he tried to turn in, asking too much of the front tyres there. I'm going to see how much curb he takes on the right-hand side here. Watch this. He just absolutely rides it like a skateboard. It just throws the car into the corner and makes it stick. It's a purple Sector 1 from Craig Brook here. The track very well might be heating up and gripping in just a little bit more. Keeps it sensible on the curbs. Doesn't use as much of them as the other drivers do. But this is where Craig has excelled so far. He's absolutely so confident through here. The car just cooperates. Uses the curb to rotate the car again. Purple, Sector 2, at least on my screen. K-Pax has also just come out for his flying lap. He will only have time to set one. But we're going to see what Craig Brook does now. He might have fueled for another flying lap after this. If not, this will be his last hurrah at pole position. Can he grab 3.5 tenths on his Ferrari compatriot? He does! Craig goes on provisional pole by 5/100ths. It's a 14.6 exactly from Craig. Now, does he have any fuel in the car? He doesn't. That's it. Craig has set his lap. Is it enough? We will have to see. My keyboard's just disconnected. Ignore that. We're seeing drivers now start to eke their way out, getting ready for their one flying lap. Craig has gone out early. He doesn't want the traffic. He just wants to set his time. Trying to look there. I'm just getting notifications. That's fine. I'm going to ignore that. Right. We're going to go on board with the Mercedes there of K-Pax. Will he set his time? We will see. So everybody is on. Everybody's just eking out of the pits or is on their out laps now. So Cleon, Fatboy Sim, excuse me, will be the next to start his flying lap. But we're going to watch K-Pax as he's going to run into a lovely bit of traffic there. We'll see how he cooperates with it. Red Bull staying out of the way of the Mercedes driver. That's going to be Tobias in the final sector there. He's just going to go into the pits. We're just going to keep an eye. Oh, he's taking too much curb there. The car complaining. Front tyre says, no, I can't do that. And he has a lovely bit of half snap oversteer there, which is going to have lost him time. Flat through, well, lifts actually through there. Aston Martin keeping out of the way. Uses a bit of curb on exit. How much of this curb does he take here? Oh, he takes a fair bit of it. Car just about cooperates. McLaren stays out of the way. And the Mercedes is now clear all the way to the line. As we have a look here, that is Arwen, I think, is going to be Dale, excuse me, has just started his lap. Fatboy Sim has also started his lap. So we're going to go on board with Fatboy Sim once we finish with the Mercedes driver here. I just want to see where he puts himself on his one and only flying lap. 2 more corners to go. The penultimate corner tucks it in very nicely there. Doesn't go all the way wide. You want to drop a gear here, tuck it in early, get on throttle as soon as you can. DRS open. K-Pax crosses the line with a 15.4. P6 at best for the Mercedes driver. But I want to watch Fatboy Sim as he hurls the car through the quick T5 there. I want to be on board for all of that, but he set up purple sector 1. The Ferrari driver, how does he negotiate this twisty section? From what I've seen, this seems to be Craig's specialty in this qualifying so far. It's a drop gear from Fatboy Sim. Another drop gear. Gets on throttle as soon as he can. Uses a bit of battery for the acceleration. Flat through here. Downshift and flat through that corner. That's very brave from the Ferrari driver here. Brakes at 60 meters. Uses the curb a little bit to rotate the car. Doesn't invalidate on exit. Tucks into this. Turns in early for this corner. Just keeps it very nicely. Doesn't scrub too much speed, but doesn't go too far right. Turns in a little bit late there. You want to touch the apex very late there. Get on throttle early. Open the DRS. Fatboy Sim crosses the line. It's a 14.3. It's provisional pole for the Ferrari driver on his first race of the season. Mika Lando is going to be the next to cross the line here. He looks like he's had a good purple sector too as well. Rob is also going to be on his lap. In a moment, we're just going to see what the Aston Martin of Mika Lando can do as he runs the final corner, dumps whatever battery he has left, doesn't invalidate, puts it P6, knocks K-Pax down. It's a 15.2. We're going to go aboard now with Lucullus, who's rounded the final corner. Where can Lucullus put it now? It's P3. It's a 14.8 from the McLaren driver. That's the best he can do. Can Rob pull out a pole position? It's a P3. It's 14.6. Knocks Arwen just goes down, knocks Luke down, excuse me. Arwen jumps to P2. It's a 14.5 from the Red Bull driver. Bosch is going to cross the line. Oh, he's pitted. He's invalidated. Pace is also invalidated. Dale is not set his time, or he has backed out of it. And that is your grid. Fatboy Sim on his first race in the season after missing the first race sets a 14.3 and pole position for our reigning champion. The Ferrari driver starts on the front row with his brother Arwen in the Red Bull car. Craig in P3 set his time early, starts alongside Rob, our previous race winner, just 2/100ths behind Craig. Lucullus in P5 alongside Mika Lando in P6. K-Pax in P7 will start alongside Bosch in P8, just 1/100th ahead of the kick driver there. Pace in P9 could not improve past a 15.5, and Dale with a 15.6 in P10. Very competitive down there. From P7 to P10, that's what about? It's less than 2/10 between 4 cars. So we will have a look at them as we go through the race. Very difficult to pass in Hungary. There's only one passing zone, and it's T1, unless you're feeling particularly brave. You could maybe pass into T3 or in that little mini straight into the third to last corner, excuse me. But really, any passing will be done in T1, and obviously it depends on whether we have rain or not. Now, the drivers driving will know. I know there are a couple of people watching who are currently in this race, but I don't, so it'll be a surprise. I'd like a bit of rain. That would be fun. We've already had a steward's investigation chucked in as well. No surprise there. Skarma in the V-Carb, absolutely apoplectic at being blocked. He was flying. And that Haas driver just sat there in front of him, which is fine. We've all done it. I've done it myself. But that's what the steward's room is for. It will get sorted after the race. But what matters is the race, the Hungaroring. They say it's Monaco without walls. It's very narrow. The tyres are... I've raced this track, you know, for quite a few years when I used to drive, and the tyres just... I mean, after 2 or 3 laps, you want to get off them. They slide so much. They understeer. They don't really bite in. The rear is upset with you, especially because the aero is so aggressive here. Some drivers are probably running max wings here because the DRS negates the aero at the rear, so it only really matters if you're a front runner, and it's so important throughout the rest of the lap. I predict a 2-stop, if I'm honest. I could very well see a soft medium, or even a medium hard. I think there will be a few drivers who will try the one-stop, a medium hard. I think they would be brave to do it, but we have seen it. And we are just going to go for the formation lap here. So 18 drivers on the grid. In P0, we score points up to P15. So 3 drivers today will be walking away without anything at all. And it looks like, having a look there, somebody has readied up too early. So some drivers maybe will have to deal with their tyre strat on the fly. Yes, there we go. So I predicted a 2-stop there, medium, hard. It looks like the soft is not viable at all, which does make sense unless you really wanted to get some, you know, crazy moves on. I'm going to have a look here at where our tyre is. Yeah, so everybody is on the mediums with the exception of Michelando and K-Pax on the 6th and 7th there on the hard tyres, and both Williams running the hard tyres as well. So they will go long. Track position is king here, which is why I expect a lot of drivers to be on the medium. One stop can work here because of how important track position is. Very difficult to pass, but you've got to properly nurse your tyres. Luke is a big proponent of the one-stop early pit. I expect Luke to be one of the earliest people to pit, and will just try and survive, basically. Just having a bit of a beverage there as we all line up. Craig has managed to get himself disqualified there. Cleon, our lead driver. As we wait for Chubby Slug to come around the final corner there and settle into his pit box. It's a race at Hungary. It's the second race of the season. The green flags are running. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are go at Hungary, and I can't see the start of the grid. I'm going to go on board. Cleon looks to get a good start here. I think it's a very good start. I'm going to have to manually do this here. Arwen looks to defend from the VCOP there as the kick goes around the outside of T1. I think there's been some contact. Potentially so. Everybody, I think, has managed to keep it in one piece. Yeah, everybody's managed to get through very sensibly. Craig makes a move on Arwen for P2 there, going down into the hairpin. Baz and Chubby Slug trading positions a little bit there. Chiv and Kev also batting position. There is a Haas who has fallen back there of Devaro, I think, as we see Cleon lead through there. So I want to see the position changes here. Yeah, Gio looks to have gotten a good start in the Haas there. Pace drop back 2 positions. A lot going on back there. Devaro looks to have made a move on Vibora through the chicane, as Cleon manages to keep his lead healthy. So we're going to keep on with the interval to each other here. Everybody very bunched up, as we can see. I'm going to drop back right into the middle of the pack. We're going to see Gio here as he looks to go around the outside of K-Pax there. An audacious move from the Haas driver. Is he going to make it stick? He does! That's a brilliant move in the Sector 3 from the Haas driver there. My goodness me, I got on board at the right time there. He is... brilliant move on the Mercedes driver there. Is the Mercedes driver to come back at him here? We're going to have a look. Gio looks, defends well. Lock of the brake as he tanks it on the inside is the kick driver. Looks to have made a move there on K-Pax. Is Bosch going to have a go? He's almost side by side with the Mercedes driver, struggling on the hard tires. Big lock up on the Haas. There's contact between the kick and the Mercedes driver, and the Red Bull of Dale says thank you very much as Dale has to give him room. Kev has made a move on Skarma in the background there. Devara's picked up a 3-second time penalty, the first of many, I have no doubt, as the gaps start to show themselves now. K-Pax is going to be struggling on those hard tyres. Gio has already pulled a second on the Mercedes. He struggles to go through the chicane. Plenty of bunched up here. Arwen is sticking on the back of Craig, who is within DRS zone of Cleon. Obviously, DRS has now enabled this lap. So DRS is on now, so we might see some moves. I'm just watching K-Pax struggle. Those hard tyres just can't manage to get them to work. Dale had to think about it. It's another lockup from the Haas. He's going to be driving on 50 pence pieces by the end of his stint. I am going to go on board here, though, with Craig. Is he too far back from Leon to make a move? I think he is, but Arwen is pretty close. DRS on. Craig is using a little bit. He's gaining on Leon. He's gaining on Leon quite quickly, actually, but he's going to be too far back to make a move. Anyone else going to make a move? I think Dale is going to make the move on the Mercedes driver. He goes down the inside, and Dale takes P8. K-Pax goes a little bit wide. And K-Pax is sticking with him. K-Pax is sticking with him. He doesn't have any DRS, though. Is he going to go down the inside? Dale goes around the outside of the Mercedes driver. I think there's a little bit of contact. But Dale comes through. Great racing there. Skarma is right on the back of the Mercedes driver. Surely not a move there. No, Skarma backs out of it. And we can see there's a train being red here. Oh, he goes up the inside. Has to back out of it. Skarma has to back out of it, and you can see the front 5 cars there, as that's a McLaren of Chiv sending it on Skarma in the chicane. That is a ridiculous move from the McLaren driver. Fair play. I'm just watching, the front 5 have pulled away there. Michelando and Gio are in their own little battle, and Gio, I think, is going to make a move in a minute. There's 4 drivers all battling it out there. Chiv drops back from P12 to P15. I think they're all going absolutely side by side. I'm going to go back on board here. We'll have a look. Skarma there. I'm looking at the pit straight there. Arwen is behind Tobias, not enough to make a move. I don't think Devaro makes a move on Chubby Slug on the background there. And we're having a look. Chiv puts his battery on. Is he going to have a move on the Williams driver here? He is going to go down the inside, makes the move stick. Skarma thinks about it. The Haas goes a little bit wide. Skarma's going to get the switch back here. And they're almost going to go 3 wide here. Chiv manages to pull away. Is Skarma going to make the move? Or is a little bit of contact there as they just seem to just clumsily bump into each other. But Skarma makes the move stick. Luke is very close to the back of Rob there. Gio as well is quite close to the back of Michelando. It's a big moment. Skarma spins. You would have caught that. I think he had contact with the Williams there. I was looking at the minimap. You would have seen it on your screen. The Williams goes off. I think he's got damage. Is it Baz? It is. Baz has gone off. I think he's got a broken wing, or he had a moment. We will have to maybe have a look at that later. Chubby Sock, I think, is disconnected at the moment, so he's currently in AI mode now. I'm going to go back on board with the Haas here, who is absolutely flying. Chiv picks up a 3-second time penalty, as Bosch did earlier in all of this. Pace is right on the gearbox of Bosch as well. We could very well see a move on there, because I think K-Pax has broken the DRS to Bosch. And that is Michelando, who goes wide, picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure. I don't think Gio's going to have enough to make a move on it, but I think Pace is going to have enough to make a move on Bosch, and he does! Pace, our sprint winner, makes the move on Bosch, tucks it into P10, and now wants to get onto this train that's being led by Michelando there, and the gap is getting bigger and bigger. That's, what, 4 seconds, I think, between Luke and Michelando there. So the front 5 have left. They're in their own train. I'm going to go back to the mess going on here. Skarma has got Devaro just a few tenths ahead of him here, and then a big gap to Chiv, who has carried on. He is carrying a penalty. Vibora has Chubby and Baz for company in the background as there is very single file through here. And we are looking at a train here that goes from P6 down to P12 here. So anybody is going to have to try and force a move if they can. Following through this sector here is so difficult. The air is so dirty because of how aggressive the aero is. And you can see how much time Skarma's lost here to Devaro, just trying to follow. We go around the final corner with the leaders. We're going to go check in with them. Fatboy Sim still leads from Craig Brook in second, who is trying to push. He's using some batteries, using some DRS. Is he going to make a late move on the Ferrari driver? He just backs out of it, thinks better of it, thinks to fight another day. K-Pax has made a move there on Dale, I believe that is. Yes. So K-Pax, with the benefit of DRS, is starting to make a move on the Red Bull driver. Pace is also got DRS. Dale doesn't. Is there room there? There isn't. Pace decides not to go for it. The white smoke everywhere there. As we look further down the field, Skarma has just backed off from Devaro a little bit, and will try and maybe regain, maybe get some cool off his tyres a little bit. Let's have a look where else we are here. Arwen is looking pretty close, but there again, it's all very single file through here. The hard tyres are going to start to come a little bit now. They're going to start to grip up. We saw K-Pax make a move and pull a decent enough gap on Dale. So, you know, the hard tyres are starting to work. A reminder that we have K-Pax and Mika Lando on the hards, Devaro and Baz and the Williams as well. So we'll see if Mika Lando can come back at the front runners. Speaking of which, I think Craig is a lot closer to the Ferrari driver here. He has his DRS on, he has his ERS on, and the kick driver is going to go to the right-hand side, and he's going to make the move into T1, and we've had a change for the lead as Chiv pits. Chiv has gone into the pits as there's a switchback from the Ferrari driver, but the DRS of Craig Brook will mean that he is able to keep the inside line, but Leon is still fighting it, goes around the outside. He's going to have the inside going into T4. They're still side by side, but Leon has to dip out of it. I don't know if there was a bit of wheel banging there or if he just thought the tires gave up on it, but he was not going to let that go, and he has his brother for company right on his gearbox as well as we head into the next straight. K-Pax has tucked right onto the back of Mika Lando as pace has dropped back to potentially get some heat back into his tires as we have a look. Skarma did make a move on Devaro, Devaro had an off. I couldn't tell you. I didn't see it. So Skarma's going to have to try and gain onto the back of Kev there. Of course, Skarma and Chiv, two drivers we expect to be at the points. Skarma has an off moment there. Just not working for the VCARB driver as we go back around to the next lap. It comes at you that quickly, and I'm curious to see if Arwen's going to have a move on the Ferrari driver. He stays out of the tow, but the Ferrari driver is in the tow of the kick driver, but it's not enough. It remains as you were going through, and the gaps are just starting to pull a little bit more. I'm going to go on board with Devaro, who's right into the slipstream of the VCARB there, but not enough to make any sort of move. And Chubby Slug, who I think is an AI, he is fighting with Vibora there, but he backs out of it. We're not going to go on board with that. And that is that was an Aston Martin, I think, there, of Rob. I think Rob had a moment. I just caught on the minimap there. He's fallen back 1.3 seconds from Arwen. And Luke is right on the gearbox of Rob there. I think he might have gone wide there, going through T5. I'm not too sure. Having a look, Devaro is still sitting on the gearbox of the VCARB driver. What is that? Probably about 2 seconds or 3 seconds separate the top 5, as it were. Whoever pits first will have a very, very good track position out of these 5. Devaro picks up another time penalty. I'm curious if he's going to make a move on Skarma, but first things first, I want to go back on board with Fatboy Sim here. He's saved up a bit of battery. He's burning his battery. He wants that lead back. He's in the tow. Tobias goes to defend, and Fatboy says, thank you very much. I'll go around the outside. He has to check the car a little bit there. It fought him. He's got DRS. They're going to go side by side again here, potentially all the way through here. Tobias keeps him honest, but this time, Fatboy Sim keeps the position, gave him room on the exit, but he has reclaimed the lead. So another change for the lead as Arwen is just sitting on the back of the saying, oh, I wish that just had a bit more. You just had a little bit more. Bosch and Skarma have both pit as well. They're trying something different. I think they might be on the... Yeah, they checked on the hard tires. So they're either two stopping or they're trying something different. But as you can see from Arwen here, he's been within less than 3/4 tenths of these two cars, sitting in third position here, but he just doesn't have that extra couple hundred meters to actually make some sort of move. Luke has made a move on Rob in the backer as well. Rob has fallen back again to the point where Mika Lando is right on the back and past his teammate. Rob is falling back the grid dramatically so. I don't know if he's got damage. I don't know if his tires are cooked. I don't know if he's had a problem. We will see. But I want to go back and board with Arwen here, who's really close to the kick driver here. The kick will have DRS and ERS as Rob pits. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think that's a Williams who's had a moment there. Arwen doesn't make the move. The yellow flag has been cleared. Rob says, that's it. I've had enough. I've had enough of the medium tires. He's got to try something different. We look here. Pace is very good. Kev makes a move. No, he doesn't make a move. Sorry. That is still Rob in the pits. Excuse me. Pace is very close to Gio there, but not close enough to make a move. And Pace is actually all over the curb there. Rob is falling all the way back. I think he may have had a change. There's a yellow flag. Is that a Williams going slowly? I think it is, but it's been cleared. So we're going to sit on the back of the V-carb here as we follow the Haas here. I'm curious to see what the dirty air looks like, as these tyres, 10 laps old, these mediums now, and they're just sort of not cooperating at this point. Chubby Flug has picked up a 10-second time penalty, or his AI has anyway, if he is on AI, for ignoring yellow flags. He was when last time I logged in. Pace is kept close to Gio. Gio is not in the DRS of the Mercedes driver. The pit stops have meant that the Haas driver has lost his DRS, and I think Pace is going to make a move here. Arwen, I just want to keep a look at the top. Lucas pit. I told you Luke would be the first of these to pit, obviously with the exception of Rob, unless he's had some sort of issue. We'll see. Gio has a big snap, but Pace keeps it very planted. Pace moves to the right-hand side of the Haas driver and into 6th position. So Luke has gone for the undercut on the trio of Fatboy Sim, Craig, and Arwen here, and I want to know if Luke is going to come out ahead of Rob. So I'm going to go on board with him now as he exits the pits here. He has come out. Where am I? Yes, he has come out ahead of Rob. I think Rob might have had wing damage. I'm not sure. Either that or he's stuck in traffic, but Luke has an acre of time on Rob there. So Luke has put on the medium tyres again. Luke is committing to the 2-stop. So will any driver try the 1-stop? We'll have to see. Gio is still keeping on the back of Pace. Those two might trade positions. But I'm looking at this front three here who have been a cut above the rest for the first stint. But I have to say, Michelando is really starting to gain on them now. The gap was about 5 seconds. It's now 2.2. These mediums are starting to go away. So are they going to stay out? And Cleon pits. And, Craig thought about it, but he decided not to. So Fatboy Sim or Leon is going into the pits. He might be committing to the 2-stop because surely it's too early for the hards. Craig is going to get a dose of DRS from the Ferrari driver, which means that Arwen will not have enough to make a move. He doesn't even use his battery. And these two are going to duke it around one more time as Arwen has a big spin there. Gio also goes into the pits. So instead of overtaking Pace, he goes into the pits. Is Fatboy Sim going to come out ahead of Lucalis here? There's Lucalis on the right-hand side of your screen. You can't even see it because the broadcast camera isn't showing it. There's Lucalis there. Fatboy Sim just barely comes out ahead of the McLaren driver, but Fatboy Sim is on the hard tyre. So is he 2-stopping or is he taking the hards to the end? I think he'd be very brave to take it to the end, and it's all starting to get particularly spicy now. Lucas is going to be a hound on the back of that Ferrari driver as he tries to get heat into his tyres. The Baz, who's ahead of these two, picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. Rob is also currently stuck in a train with Chubby, Chiv, and Bosch, and Baz has a moment. They both go around the outside of him there. Baz was caught on the inside of the chicane. It feels like every time I look down at something else, something happens on the screen. That's fine, what the highlights are for. Luke, look how close he is. Look how close he is. Craig and Arwen have both pit, and I think they're going to come out behind this train here as Michelando really closed in on them at the end of their stint there. Skarma picks up a 3-second time penalty. Pace stays out, and Dale pits. So the Red Bulls have double stacked, but you must say Luke is going to make a hearty move on the Ferrari driver. This is for the net lead of the race as it stands. There's nothing the Ferrari driver can do. Luke passes him like he isn't even there, and in the background you could see Craig and Arwen come out of the pits behind these drivers. Luke has now jumped from P4 to P1, but he has to stop again. My question is, what tyres have Craig and Arwen put on? They've put on the hards. So Luke is committing to the 2-stop. Fatboy Sim, Craig and Arwen are committing to the 1-stop, I think. Rob and Chiv have the hard tyres on. Bosch, Skarma, and Gio all have the hard tyres on as well. Dale as well on the hard tyres. So Kev has put on the mediums. So we've got Luke on the mediums. We've got Kev on the mediums on the 2-stop. Everyone else is either putting 2 hards on or mediums at the end, or they're taking the hards to the end. Well, a safety car could blow this wide open. Both Williams drivers still yet to pit. Arwen picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not good for him as he was in the fight. We're going to have a look in and around. Fatboy Sim is staying on the back of Lucas there. You know, we're going to see if he makes a move. It benefits Fatboy Sim to be ahead of Luke here, especially if Luke has to pit again. We just see Vibora pick up a 3-second time penalty. I'm having a look up and down the grid. Rob is potentially going to make a move on Chiv. Kev jumps Vibora as well. Luke sets the fastest lap. Fatboy Sim is making gains on him, but not enough. Skarma makes a pass on Gio, the Haas driver there. Revenge, potentially, for the... Chiv makes a move on Devaro, actually, and I think Rob is going to make a move on the Williams driver as well. Like, there's all sorts of position changes. I'm going to drop back here. I think that was Bosch and Devaro getting into it. Rob managed to make the pass, and he's going to be right on the back of Chiv as Bosch tries to go around the outside of the Williams driver there, who's dying on those hard tyres. And Gio is getting a brilliant view of this, but he wish he could be through it, because he's going to have to follow this Williams driver here through a lot. He goes wide alongside him. That Williams is really struggling. There's a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of a contact. Get out of the way, the Haas driver says. He's not going to send up the chicane. He doesn't. Kev picks up a 3-second time penalty, as does another driver. That's Craig, picks up a 3-second time penalty. And I tell you what, the sky's getting a little bit darker, doesn't it? It's darker than it was at the beginning. I'm going to continue on with this train here, as Fatboy Sim wasn't able to make the move. Gio could make a move in a particularly audacious place. Is he going to send it up the inside? It's a good break from the Williams. He squeezes him to the apex. Not a lot of room left from the Williams driver. Does not want the Haas driver to pass. Must be so frustrating for the Haas driver. There's nothing you can do through this middle sector there. They are touching each other all the time as Fatboy Sim up atop makes the pass. Devaro squeezes Gio onto the grass there. Some ridiculous racing going on. And he still goes. He goes very deep. Will the Haas make the switch back? Devaro does not want to give this up at all. There, again, as he has to take the grass. And he's still going. This is remarkable racing. And Skarma, I think it's just got past the pair of them there. I've lost that position there where we managed to... Just going to follow them as they go around the outside here. Rob makes a move on Baz further up ahead as well. He's starting to scythe his way up. 6 seconds off of Arwen as Gio picks up a time penalty and a lot of bumps there. So I've been following this absolutely ridiculous battle going forward here. Luke was passed by Fatboy Sim for the net lead of the race. You have Pace, who is seriously extending those medium tyres. Michelando and K-Pax on the hards. As I say that, Pace has actually come into the pits. Skarma's gotten onto the back of Baz here, who is also on aging hard tyres. I'm just going to keep on board with this here. Pace pits, we'll see where he comes out. Luke isn't close enough to make a move. I tell you, it's getting darker. It does look like it's getting darker. I wonder if we will have another interesting moment in this race. Rob, Chiv, Bosch, Baz, Skarma, Gio all past Pace there. Gio has a look at the inside. Skarma's making the move on the Williams driver. And, oh, it's a bit of contact again. And the Williams driver's got enough speed to go past the pair of them. Gio goes on the inside of Skarma here. Oh, they're just keeping it out of each other. He's still there. He's still there. They have to hook wheels a little bit. Vibora picks up a 10-second time penalty for spinning in the pit lane, and the Haas driver is still leading this train, remarkably so. Big snap from Skarma, big snap from Gio. I don't want to do anything but stay on board with this here. Craig is closing in on Luke as those medium tyres start to fall away. Fatboy Sim is pulled out of DRS zone, so we could see a move on the kick driver on the McLaren on the straight. We might have to dip back and look at that in a minute. Both Williams, the V-Carb and the Haas have been beaten 7 shades of something else out of each other. But I'm going to go on board with the kick driver here. Luke has fallen back from the Ferrari driver quite considerably now, and I think he might be about to lose a position. Skarma does get past Baz again in the middle sector there. We're going to have to go on board in a minute, but we're going to see Luke get passed here by Craig Brook. Arwen is too far back to make a move. I'm going to go back to Gio here on the Haas, who also gets past Baz, who is going to have DRS. Gio now in the toe of Skarma, not close enough to make a move here. Baz also not doesn't have enough, also not enough tyre, really, to make it all the way. So we're having a look. So Dale makes the pass. Kev and Dale pass Chubby. Chubby's in the pits. Gio is really trying to fight here to get past Skarma. He wants to be out of it. He's looked good in practice. He looked good in quali. These two have history and quality. It's a big step from Skama. Gio goes up the inside. It's a late move. Can't make it stick. Skama goes to defend the inside of the chicane. Gio backs out of it, waits for it, and it's going to be single file. Skama had a big moment. Gio saw an opportunity and took it, but that gap was closing very quickly. Arwen makes the pass on Luke there as his tyres start to fall away. Bosch is very close to Chiv and could very well have a move in on the pit straight here. Luke surely isn't going to be too long before he pits. I can't imagine. Chiv is out on older hard tyres. Is Bosch going to make a move here? I'm also going to watch in the background there as Pace is also very close to the Williams drivers on the old hards as well. We expect to see him make a move. But I want to know is, does Bosch have enough? He's got DRS on Chiv. Chiv doesn't have it on Rob, but Chiv has enough battery to defend. Gio doesn't have enough to make a move. Pace does make a pass on Tavaro and makes that stick on his fresher tyres. So, Bosch very close to Chiv, not close enough. As it stands, we'll recap almost halfway, or directly halfway through this race, excuse me. Michelando and K-Pax are still out 1 and 2 on the hard tyres. They haven't pit yet. Fatboy Sim is in the net race lead in 3rd place. 1.3 seconds behind him is Craig, 1.3 seconds behind him is Arwen, both carrying 3-second time penalties. Luke, who is committed to the 2-stop, is behind them on the medium tyre. He has to stop again. Rob is in 7 seconds behind them after a moment as we see Chiv struggle here in P8, Bosch in P9. These two could swap very well by the time I get to the end of this list. Behind then, Skama and Gio in 10th and 11. Also very close, could very well switch. Pace is very, very, very close to the back of Baz there. Is he going to have a go down the inside here? We see K-Pax as he pits and Baz lets Pace go there. It's a strong move. So we'll see where K-Pax comes out. What I want to know is Bosch going to make a move on Chiv? He's a lot closer this time. He's got a bit more battery. He's got the DRS, and he's going to go side by side and make the move down into T1. The Haas isn't close enough, so we'll see if Bosch can make this stick. Chiv is going to go back at him, I think. I think Bosch has enough, and he does. So Bosch will take this position through. We will see if he's able to pull that gap. He's got slightly fresher tyres than Chiv. And we're all just settling into a bit of a groove now. So Gio and Skama, Chiv and Bosch, these are the battles we're watching at the moment. K-Pax came out there ahead of Pace on the medium tyres, so he's made the reverse strat work. Pace has to catch up and pass him. We will see. I tell you what though, the medium tyres probably won't make it to the end here, actually. 16 laps is probably a tall order on the medium, so we could see K-Pax pit again. Gio has picked up another time penalty there in his battle with Skama. Devaro and Baz, the two Williams drivers, fighting very hard. I think that was that a Haas going side by side? It was in the background. I caught it just in the background there. He makes the move on Skama. There's been plenty of overtakes, far more than I thought, out of those twisties into that hard right-hander into Sector 3. Gio made the move stick as Michelando pits and Luke pits. So Luke's taken the medium tyres off. He's gone onto the hards. That's his last stop. Skama maybe had another moment. Vibora picks up another 3-second time penalty. As you see there, Chiv is not close enough to make a move, but Michelando coming out of the pits on the medium tyres is very close to these two. I'd be surprised if they took these mediums to the end, as Kev on the mediums pits onto the hards. That's going to be his last lap, unless these two probably do, I'm thinking they might do 7 laps on the mediums each. We will see. But Michelando's got a lot of work to do. Look how slowed down he is. There's a yellow flag at Sector 2. It's a Baz, I think. Is that Baz? It is. A Williams is off. He's off. He's had a moment. He's spun. He's gone wide, but he's recovered. I think he might have wing damage or maybe steering damage. We'll see. I'm going to go back on board with Michelando here. Look how close he is to Chiv. Is he going to make a move here? No. He thinks better of it. He will look to pass at least Chiv on the straight. We could see over half the grid with time penalties here. Let's have a look at what our time penalties are in general. So a couple 3 seconds, couple 6 seconds. Devaro with 9, and then Vobora with 2 6 seconds, and then the 10-second for speeding in the pit lane. But let's have a look at Michelando, who's in the toe of Chiv. He's got DRS on. Is he going to make a late move here? Michelando looks to switch to the racing line as Chiv goes down the inside of Bosch. Chiv makes the move, and they both go off there. I just missed it because the camera didn't catch it, but Chiv put an absolutely ridiculous move down there. And made his move on Bosch. I want to go on board with Skarma here, as he is just back in the tow there. But we're going to catch up. We're going to recap where we are. So I'm going to put this camera on here as we see Theon here. Fatboy Sim still leading by 1.2 seconds from Craig Brook in P2. He is carrying a 3-second time penalty, as is Arwen in P3, who's also carrying a 3-second time penalty. Rob is 10 seconds behind in P4. 11-lap-old Hards. We'll have to see if he takes it to the end or if he pits again, but gaining very quickly on him is his teammate, Michelando, in P5 in the mediums. Has to pit again. Chiv on 14-lap-old hard tyres. We will see if he goes again. Bosch in P7 as well, who very well might make a move on Chiv here. K-Pax is very close to the pair of them here, as he has been flying on those medium tyres, as Michelando sets the fastest lap so far. And K-Pax is going to make a move on Bosch, the kick driver, and makes his way up. And Bosch, I think, is still side by side with him, but K-Pax is going to have significantly better drive, so he is flying on those medium tyres. Behind Bosch in P9 is Gio, who has had an eventful race, to say the least, and Skarma. These two have been glued together, it has to be said, all race. Pace there in P11, it was the last of the medium tyre runners to pit. He is trying to gain some inroads. We'll see if he takes those to the end. Luke is in P12. He has done his final stop. He did 2 mediums and a hard. Dale in P13 on the hards. Devaro is still going on 21-lap-old hard tyres. Fair play to the Williams driver there. Kev is in P15, the last point-scoring position on his hard tyres. That's the last of his pit stops. Chubby Slug, who is unfortunately with us, that is an AI driver. Vibora is in P17, carrying a boatload of penalties due to an unfortunate speeding in the pit lane incident. And Baz has slapped on the medium tyres in P18 to see if he can gain any inroads on the Haas. I'm just going to go back here to Geo, I think, because this is going to be the best view. Look at these train of cars here. K-Pax goes side by side with Chiv as Geo goes into the toe of Bosch, and that's Skarma and Pace there. And I want to just quickly look at Chiv there, who is clobbered there, I think, by Bosch. Everybody seems to be driving next to each other as Geo goes around the inside of Bosch there. Does he make the move stick? He does! A great move from Gio there. And we look at these line of cars there. K-Pax on the medium tyres is left. Gio is tucked in behind Chiv, who's on aging hard tyres. Bosch follows behind in the kick there. And then it's Pace as well, who's got past Skarma in all of that. I didn't see because they are teammates. But Pace on fresher tyres than 7-lap fresher tyres than Skarma. And, I mean, look at these cars as they go through. They're streaking through. I'm going to go on board with Gio, who potentially is going to make a move here of all places. He goes side by side. He's feeling so racy today. Bosch is saying, thank you very much. I very well may have a go at that, as he's going to be out of position going onto the straight here. Let's have a look. So it's Skarma, Pace, Bosch, Gio, and Chiv. So I'm going to go on board with Bosch here as we see this long run back out. That's the McLaren driver of Lucalis on the fresh hards, who's just getting onto it. That looks like Pace going down on the inside of Bosch into T1, and Pace makes the move stick. Very well done there. Gio goes a little bit wide. We could see Pace make a double move here. We're going to go on board. You see the Haas driver just in the mirror there. He gives him just enough room, and Pace goes around the outside of the Haas driver. And Pace is thriving right now. He's right onto the gearbox of Chiv. He's managed to pass through Gio. He's managed to pass Bosch. He's managed to pass Skarma. Let's try to say that 3 times fast. Now he's got this absolute rolling roadblock of Chiv to deal with. Michelando has gotten right onto the back of... Oh, Gio's gone over the chicane, so Gio's fallen back. He's had a moment. He's gone over the chicane. He's lost positions to Bosch and Skarma there. Lucalis is just sitting on the back of the Haas now, trying to do what he can to gain some position. Skarma picks up another time penalty as Gio goes off. Oh, he does so well to keep that out of the wall. Luke manages to make the pass. Good reactions from Luke to not wipe out the Haas driver there, whose tyres are just starting to give up on him. I think Michelando's going to make a pass on his teammate there for P4. Obviously, might still have to pit again. We'll have to see. Fatboy Sim out ahead is extending his gap. He looks in a very healthy position to win this should nothing come of his race, especially with no time penalties. Pace has also made a move down the inside of Chiv there, and Chiv says, thank you very much, I'm going to have that, as Pace goes too deep, but Bosch is going to have a look at them now. This Pace maybe has a look on the outside. Chiv defends very well. Bosch goes on the inside of Pace. Bosch goes in the inside, gives Chiv a good love tap for good measure as Pace reclaims the position. Bosch goes on the outside. They're side by side going into this quick corner. There's no room for two cars here. Is Bosch going to take the inside line? No. Pace makes the move around the outside. Cracking move from the VCAP driver there. Lucas managed to make the pass on Skarmer, I think that was, yeah. And he's just having to bide his time. It must be so frustrating for the McLaren driver, knowing you're the quicker driver in terms of qualifying pace. At least you've got the hard tyre, the fresher one here. You just want to get past them, but you can't. The DRS is so powerful here. There's nowhere to pass. You can see he's lifting here. He might even make a move down on the inside here. Go side by side with Bosch. He goes down the inside of Bosch and takes the position, but Bosch is surely going to come right back at him on the pit straight as Gia there and Skarmer. Gia's going to go around the outside of the VCAP driver. No, he's not. But he is going to set himself up for a move down on the straight here. We'll have to see. Pace is currently on the back of Chiv. I think he's going to have a go down the inside. We're going to see a streak of cars here all pull out to one side of each other. You can see Pace and Chiv go side by side up the top there. Chiv defends the inside. Luke tucks in on the inside of the pair of them. He goes side by side with Pace here as Chiv still defends. But Pace is going to have the inside lane. Lucas maybe going to switch back. We'll have to see. Pace and Chiv have a little bit of bumper cars. And Pace and Chiv is collected. Chiv has gone off. He's gone off. He's kept it. He hasn't lost it. But Pace and Chiv were absolute beating the hell out of each other there. Excuse me. There's a yellow flag at sector 2. It's Gio. He's spun. Gio is spun. He's lost the position to Dale as well. Excuse me. He's kept it pointing in a straight line. He has been having moments all over the place here. I think he might have touched the inside curb. We'll have to see Luke now. So to recap from this battle now, Pace has managed to get ahead of them. Luke is ahead of Chiv, and Skarmer has made a move on Bosch there, down the inside. Very well done there. I'm going to go on board with Bosch here to see. Chiv is just fallen away. Luke is very close to the back of Pace there on even fresher tyres. Someone's gone into the pits there. I'm not sure who that was there. That was Chiv. So Chiv and Bosch are in the pits. They are going to get rid of those hard tyres as Lucalis makes the pass on Pace for P7. Gio picks up a 3-second time penalty for good measure as well. He's just had an unfortunate race. He's had some good battles, the Haas driver, but a spin has cost him. He's still on for points as it stands. I think Chiv and Bosch are going to come out well ahead of Kev here. They are. So this is now our closest battle with Chiv and Bosch both putting on the medium tyres. They are going to go absolute hammer and tongue. Chiv is picking up 3 seconds more time penalties than Bosch, so Bosch could very well just stay in the slipstream of Chiv and pick up the position as long as he doesn't get a penalty himself. So we'll recap once again. Oh, and the Haas has spun again. The Haas has spun again. He's had just had a nightmarish run. The Haas driver, he very well might pit and put on some medium tyres. We'll see. He keeps out of the way of Bosch and Chiv there. But as I was going to say, yeah, he's having issues, isn't he? But we're going to go on board now. Fatboy Sim has controlled the race beautifully so far. Looks to have committed to the one stop on the hard tyres. Has pulled a healthy 2-second gap to Craig Brook in second there. Just trying to take it home now. Lost net lead briefly to Luke's undercut, but Luke's 2-stop strategy meant that Theo just had to bide his time until he could make the pass. He is in P1, no penalties as it stands. Craig Brook is currently in P2, 2 seconds ahead of Arwen in P3, who are far and away ahead of the pack at the moment. Mika Lando is at 12 seconds behind. That yellow flag is just the Haas getting out of the way as the back marker. Mika Lando is in P4. 12 seconds back, maybe taking the mediums to the end. I must say he's probably fighting quite a lot, as Gio does pit to get rid of the hard tyres there. Rob Wills is just sitting behind his teammate in P5. I'm going to go more with K-Pax there in P6, who is in his own version of No Man's Land. Luke here on the hard tires, just trying to gain on his former teammate, see if he can get that position at the end of the lap. You can see the gap there, 2.6 seconds. Pace, 2.4 seconds behind Lucalis there. He might have had a moment or just fallen back a little bit. Skarma, 3.5 seconds behind Pace, carrying a penalty. Dale, 5 seconds behind him in P10. So that's your top 10 as it stands. Chiv in P11 with Bosch in P12. Accompany both of these on the fresh medium tyres. The dirty air having Bosch scythe off the circuit there as he's just trying to stick to the back of the McLaren driver. This looks like our closest battle for the last few laps. Kev is in P13, 9 seconds behind these on the hards. Devaro on fresh mediums trying to catch the Mercedes drivers in P14. Chubby Saga AI driver. Gio on the fresh mediums in P16. Our last point scoring position as it stands, as Bosch sets the fastest lap of the race. So far, not close enough to make a move on Chiv, though. Going back there, Gio in P16. Vobora, 3 seconds behind with a big snap crossing the curbs there on the hard tyres. And then Baz, the soft tyre, who's also an AI as well. I think he might have had a disconnect in P18 after a few moments. So a couple of yellow flags here and there. Nothing crazy so far. This is the closest battle we've got on board at the moment. Bosch and Chiv, I really want to see these two go through the chicane there. I love the angle, the drop camera angle here as they go through. Love seeing them assault the curbs. Not as much as in qualifying, of course, as you don't want to lose the car. And that'll be the thumbnail for the highlights, I reckon. Rob is within a DRSO of his teammate, and Michelanda is carrying a penalty of 3 seconds, so they could very well invert positions. The other one to watch here is Luke is gaining quite a lot on the Mercedes driver of K-Pax there, who is probably taking those mediums to the end. They're looking a little bit worn, as Pace and Skarma are just steadying the gap. We'll stay on board with Bosch here, see if he's close enough to make a move on Chiv. As Chiv goes wide there, doesn't he? Would have lost a little bit of time, but it's a pretty healthy gap. Not sure Bosch has enough here to make a move. He doesn't even have enough battery, I don't think. And tucks behind. Chiv picks up another 3-second time penalty. So Bosch has a 6-second penalty buffer over Chiv. So Bosch doesn't even need to make the move to take P11 here. Lucalis is a lot closer to K-Pax than he was just a few laps ago. He is absolutely on the back of the Mercedes driver here. Those medium tyres just starting to fall away. Is he going to make a move on the inside? No. Gio sets the fastest lap of the race as it stands. I'm just having a look up and down the grid a little bit. Still no other close battles. K-Pax around the final corner. Is Lucalis going to make a move on those hard tyres? Really starting to bed in now. DRS on, battery on. I don't know if there's a lot K-Pax can do here. Luke sits into the slipstream, makes the pass, and will move over to the left-hand side in plenty of time. Luke has moved up to P6 and has 4 laps to catch up to Rob. So Rob pitted early. Rob had a moment in front of Luke. He had a moment in front of Luke, and he dropped back by about 2 seconds or so as Arnwood picks up another 3-second time penalty. That's definitely going to put any problem on him overtaking Craig. But as I was saying, Rob had a moment in front of Luke. He dropped about 2 seconds back, there or thereabouts, and then he pit. And he was in the pit for a long time. He came out quite a few seconds. Sorry, when Luke pitted, he came out quite a few seconds ahead of Rob. I don't know if he had a wing change or if something happened, but the gap was put quite big. Luke has managed to run the medium tyres, pit again onto the hards, make his way back up, and he now finds himself 6.5 seconds behind Rob, but on 10 lap fresher tyres. Rob's hards are 21 laps old, almost the same as the front runners. Now they've gone for the one stop because they think they can make it work, but those tyres are going to be screaming at him. Skarma is actually on the oldest, on 22 lap tyres. I'd be curious to see how much Chiv gains on them, as Chiv has managed to break the DRS to Bosch as well. So this is it. Luke has, 4 laps to gain 6 seconds on Rob. It'll be a tall order, especially as Rob is getting a very lovely tow from his teammate in P4 as well. Overall, the positions have actually netted out roughly to where they were in the beginning. Michelando getting 2 possessions there. has done very, very well. Managed to make the one-stop work on the hard to medium, which is fair play to him. Fatboy Sim has drove an impervious race out front as well. Craig and Arwen have done brilliantly as well. Rob obviously had his moment. Luke trying to make the two-stop work. I'm trying to think about who my provisional driver of the day is. There's a Haas going slowly there of Devara. I think he had a moment. Devara, which has just dropped him off of Kev very slightly there as Baz makes a pass on Vibora in the background there as Vibora goes into the pits. Vibora pits. As we look at Fatboy Sim, again, our closest gap there is Chiv actually has gained quite significantly on Dale. Excuse me. I missed that there. We're going to go on board with him here. He's just pulled away from Bosch in terms of the DRS a little bit. He's got to pull quite a few more seconds in order to retain the position over the kick driver. And he will make a start at that by passing Dale here. It looks like he's almost pushing him out of the way before we even get to the DRS zone. So Chiv goes alongside the Red Bull driver and makes the move happen well before the corner. Takes the inside. Will have traction on exit. And there's not a lot Dale can do about that. It's up to Bosch now to make the move, as he is 1.3 seconds behind. Still on the same amount of penalties, as it stands. So Bosch needs to try and get past Dale here, I think, as Devaro and AI have Chubby Slug trading positions. I'm going to keep the tyre on here. I'm just having a look up and down the grid. Pace is actually pretty close to making a move as well on K-Pax. K-Pax's medium tyres really starting to fall away a little bit, I think. Arwen's actually fall back from Craig a little bit there. 14 laps old, those medium tyres are. Fair kudos to K-Pax for trying to make it work. Dale and Bosch still sitting in the slipstream there of Chiv as they get through Sector 3. Luke has managed to pull a fair chunk of time on Rob, but maybe not enough. But we're going to watch Pace make a move here on K-Pax, who struggled on the medium tyres. They go side by side. Pace is going to outbrake the medium tyre runner, go around the outside. Oh, they've gotten a little bit close. Pace has a little bit of a snap, but he's got a second dose of DRS. And he might try and make the move stick this time as he goes down the inside. K-Pax goes around the outside. Those medium tyres will be screaming. And there's not enough grip there. There is! No, excuse me. K-Pax manages to send it on the inside. I've got to say fair play to the Mercedes driver on those ancient medium tyres for keeping the position. Pace has one more lap to make the move happen. As we look here, Luke has managed to pull 3 seconds out of Rob there, but Rob is very, very tucked in with the slipstream of Michelando, or at the very least, Michelando's having issues with his slow. In fact, Rob makes the pass there. I think Michelando let him through just so Rob could pull away from Luke a little bit. Michelando really struggling on those medium tyres. Fatboy Sim has taken the last lap, so we will go on board with him in just a few moments. For him to take the flag, but I want to see if Pace makes the move here on K-Pax. This is it, one that matters, as they will be starting their final lap as they go around here. I'm going to go on TV pod here. Bosch is also probably going to make a move on Dale pretty soon as well. As Pace goes, K-Pax goes defensive. Pace uses his battery, makes the move, completely past, and I think he makes the move stick. So well done to Pace there. He's going to pull away. Bosch is going to make the move on Dale here. And look at that gap that Chiv has pulled. I don't know if it's enough. We'll have to see if Bosch can pull out the last lap that he needs. But I'm going to go all the way here on board with one Fatboy Sim, the Ferrari driver on his first race of the season, returning as a reigning champion, couldn't race in Portugal, missed out on a boatload of points, but he won't care as he rounds the final corner in Hungary. The checkered flag is waved, and Fatboy Sim wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. His first race win of the season. Craig Brook will take a healthy P2, as Arwen takes P3 as well on his first race of the season as well. Rob will round the final corner here as Luke is pushing Michelando through the last few corners. But it won't matter. Rob will take a very well-deserved P4 there. Michelando will take P5 and Luke P6, but will jump in due to the penalty. Pace then rounds the final corner. He will take P7 ahead of K-Pax in P8. Skarma recovers to P9 after issue in qualifying, and after a very eventful race, Chiv will come home to take P10. Bosch rounds the final corner in P11, and I think will jump Chiv to P10. He does, as Dale jumps the pair of them to P10. He wasn't carrying any penalties at all, so Bosch falls to P11, Chiv to P12. Kev will round us out through the final sector here to take P13. Gio, Baz, and Vibora have all taken the flag in P16, 17, and 18. As the lapped cars, we see Kev come around now, and he takes P13. Chubby Slug as the AI will take P14, and Devaro in P15. And that is that. Whew. And breathe. What a race that was. Driver of the day is Chiv, because he's had all sorts of moments there, going back and forth, isn't he? I think that I am going to give my driver of the day to... I think I'm going to give it to Rob. Because Rob, in fairness, finished around where he qualified, but what isn't spoken about is the fact that he had to pit early, lost time in the pit stop, and hung those hard tyres out for an awful long time, and managed to take home P4. So well done to Rob. I want to give a special shout out to Skarma as well, who did pretty much the same thing. I think Skarma was on the same lap old hard tyres, or same amount of laps on the hards, I should say. To Rob, and managed to pull up to P9 after all of the incidents he had. But I'm going to give it to Rob. Fair kudos to the previous race winner for getting a healthy amount of points. And that's it. That's your final grid. So to recap, it's Fatboy Sim, Craig, Arwen on the podium, Rob, Luke, Michelando, Pace, K-Pax, Skarma, and Dale rounds out the top 10. Bosch in P11 from Chiv, Kevin P13. Chubby Slug won't score points as he was AI, which means Devaro in P14. Gio in the last point scoring position in P15. And Baz and Vibora will round us out in P16 and P17 as our non-points finishers. Thank you all for a wonderful, wonderful race. I loved a bit of wet qualifying. That was great fun as well. Seeing some shock Q2 exits as well. Seeing the wet to the intermediates in Q1, inters to the dries in Q2, and some brilliant laps in Q3. We had some great racing there. Some cars absolutely going hammer and tong in the mid-pack, fighting for any position that they can. But you have to give credit to Fatboy Sim, who controlled the race very comfortably. Only had to make the pass on Lucalis when Luke went for the alternative strategy. And came home to a very well-deserved win, very comfortable win. And, you know, our podium sitters, I think, were fully deserved, very, very much on pace. That was it from me. Thank you all. Again, it's always a joy having people come in. Bosch and Vibora, I know you've been here in the chat as well. Appreciate you chatting along. Vibora, the wet in this game is certainly difficult to have to work with. I won't deny that for a minute. But it's so glad to have you here for your first debut race, and hopefully we keep you carrying on as well. I am going to leave you all now. We will be live next week for Zandvoort in a sprint. Now that is certainly something to... that's certainly going to be something to behold, isn't it? Let me just double check that's the case. So I'm not making it up completely. Yes, so on January 26th, we're in Zandvoort with a sprint race. So that's going to be a very cruel choice from our calendar creator Chiv there, but we'll go. Thank you, Vibora. That's very kind. I hope to see you all next Sunday. I appreciate you all. The highlights will be up as soon as I can create them. I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.